All right, looks like it's 6 o'clock, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Realize it's a very busy time of year, a lot of things going on, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. But what I do want to do tonight, though, is kind of go over some things for new parents to keep in mind as you jump into this year-round swimming stuff. So that you can best support your swimmer, and also we can best support you and your family in this sport. So the goals tonight, we're just going to introduce the sport of swimming and Occoquan swimming, and what we do and what we are intending to do every day with practices. Provide some useful information for starting and supporting your swimmers' enjoyment and their involvement in the sport, and then explain some of the process of the teams or of the team. Then we'll talk about season goals. And then at 7 o'clock, we have the full team presentation that will go into a little bit deeper of this specific season. Whereas tonight, for this presentation here, it's mostly about processes and understanding what you got yourself into here. My name is Aaron Dean. I'm the head coach and CEO, also a national training group coach. I've been coaching Occoquan swimming, or leading Occoquan swimming, for the past 16 years. At 12 years coaching prior to that on the West Coast and middle of America. Work with a lot of kids. Bottom line is, I'm a professional coach, and every coach that we have associated with our program is a professional coach. We've got a lot of expertise and background and education to provide the kids with not just swimming skills and not just fitness and things like that, but also life skills, and helping them to fully connect holistically to become the best they can possibly become. My goal and my intent with my position is to help be your guide along the way, and help support you and your family and your child as they go through the sport in ways that we're growing up in different groups, different competitions, and whatnot. So if there's anything I can do to help support you and your family, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Our coaching staff, we've got a tremendous coaching staff. I couldn't be more proud and more honored to be able to work with them. There's a lot of things that go into becoming a qualified USA swimming coach. Each coach comes with their own experiences and things that they bring from their background in their education and in their own experiences as a coach or as an athlete. But together, we all come together to find and bring the best in every one of us to help your child become their best. So we have a lot of safety training aspects that we go through, as background screening, USA Fit Swimming Foundations, rules of coaching, athlete development, American Swimming Coaches Association. We have a number of athletes or coaches that are involved with that at a very high level. We also have monthly meetings, and actually in a lot of the groups, we have weekly meetings about training plans and things that we're working on, challenges that come up, and things like that. We send the coaches to clinics, conferences, and things like that. In fact, we have one coming up here in September. And then we also have our basis of outlines of what we are trying to accomplish in each one of the groups, and what we're trying to accomplish throughout the course of a season and throughout the course of a swimmer's career. And then obviously mentoring and training is one of the main things that I do, as well as the rest of the staff that has a lot of time on the pool deck. Coach conduct and everything else kind of goes without saying. But just to know your swimmers are in a great place with the staff that we have and the coaches that we have to support each other. Our mission and vision, in a nutshell, Occoquan swimming, we are trying to, or we're tasked with helping kids to become great people, great athletes, and reach their potential in the sport and in everything that they do. And so along the way, there's going to be a lot of lessons that we share, and successes and failures and everything in between for the kids to learn how to grow and become the best they can possibly become. USA Swimming is the governing body of swimming for the Olympic movement of swimming. So from USA Swimming, which you are part of now, you will be a part of the selection process, or the athletes that are part of the selection process for competing for the United States in international competitions. And so there's a lot of different levels to that. There's 4 zones, or USA Swimming is split into 4 categories. You see the green down there is the Southeast. We're up in the yellow, which is the Eastern zone. And then each one of the areas are almost split by states, but there's actually 59 of them because some of the areas encompass a couple of states. Some of the areas encompass, like you see, California has a lot of different LSCs or local swimming committees that they're part of. There's about a little over 3,000 clubs within the United States, and that encompasses about 330,000 athletes across the United States. So you see our Eastern zone is up here, the uppermost area. We are actually as part of Potomac Valley Swimming, which is the DC metro area. Potomac Valley Swimming is actually meant to be just the counties that are surrounding DC. However, our organization started in Alexandria, which is in the Potomac Valley Swimming, and eventually made its way out here to Prince William County and Fauquier County, which is why those are penciled in there for the Potomac Valley Swimming. But we are actually here in the territory of Virginia Swimming. Occoquan Swimming, we are a nonprofit organization, 501c3, as the IRS, or as we report to the IRS. Each parent of a year-round competitive swimmer, which is everyone on this call here, is with an account in good standing, is a member of the organization. The board of directors oversees myself as the CEO and the overall organization intent. Myself, I oversee the daily operations, including the coaching staff and the means to accomplish the strategic plans for the organization. Coaches are assigned daily duties or duties that they do within the program. In addition to their coaching, you may see some of them helping out with certain aspects of the program, whether it's helping to manage a pool or helping to set up swim meets, helping with administrative stuff. They carry a lot of different roles with what they do every day. The corporation, we've evolved over the number of years. We don't just have a competitive team, but everything is supporting the competitive team, whether it's to raise additional funds to support the competitive team, or increase opportunities to bring kids into the sport, teach them about the sport, continue to grow and offer clinics, things like that. So the other services that we have swimming lessons, we have non-competitive groups, speed squad, homeschool, high school prep. We do pool management. We've done some managing of other pools, including here at Central Park Aquatic Center. Facility rentals, we rent out to I think about a dozen PWSL swimming organizations that come in and rent our pool over the weekends for their winter swim stuff, as well as lifeguard classes and scuba diving organizations and such. We have pool fitness memberships, very limited here at CPAC. They're during the day. Generally, folks that have daytime, they can come in and swim a little bit or use our weight facilities. We do a number of Red Cross trainings, lifeguard training, CPR. We have, I think, 3 staff that are certified Red Cross trainers that I've offered hundreds of lifeguard training and CPR trainings over the past year and a half or 2 years. Meet management, we host a number of competitions, and not just our own, but also we help out with Potomac Valley Swimming and helping them host their competitions. We have an amazing live stream system that's the envy of a lot of teams around the country, and we've actually shared that with a lot of teams around the country, that you'll be able to see not just the meet and live streaming, but archived, so you can go back and watch it with your swimmers at home on a big screen on YouTube, just right through the same channel here we're on. Riptide Swim Shop, which provides the equipment, gives us a lot of ways that we can discount the costs for swimsuits and things like that. And then we just added Lake Ridge Swim Club, which is a pool there. We've got a lot of things going on, but all of this, like I said, leads into our competitive programs, which is our number one objective within the corporation. I'm going to talk about a number of things, but certainly utilize these resources. We have a website that has a number of things on there and some other links. We also have Potomac Valley Swimming website, which has some parent educational materials there. And then there's also some educational materials pretty extensive on USA Swimming. And True Sport has some really good stuff as well. If you're looking to learn how you can support your athlete, you'll, as you go through the stages of swimming and stages of the groups that we have, you'll see that there's a number of questions that come up. What should I be feeding my swimmer before they go to practice? What should I be, how much sleep should they get? Just little things like that. These resources have some things to help with, but also certainly your coach, but also experienced parents. There's been a lot of parents there's a lot of parents in our program right now that have been with us since they had a swimmer that was 6 years old, and now they're 18 years old. They've seen a lot of things, they've seen a lot of changes, and they can warn you about some of those things coming up, as well as help to educate you how to get through them just based on their experiences there as well. What is competitive swimming? An outsider's version of competitive swimming is that it's physically demanding, lots of skill work required, and lots of time, and a little bit crazy. Sometimes it means early mornings, as you've all probably experienced with your summer league stuff. We don't start quite that early, but there will be some mornings that there will be some competitions going on. But it is crazy only because it's tough. It's a tough sport. So what our view of competitive swimming is, we're building, inspiring, and excelling physical and character traits towards becoming the best possible student, person, and athlete, whether that's in swimming or anything else that they do in their lives. The end result, what we're trying to help when a child comes into our program, we're thinking long term. We'll talk a little bit about long term development and what that all means. But as far as our end result, we think about, okay, what do we want to see when an athlete is finished with us, is ready to go on to college, is ready to go out into the real world? What are some things that we as an organization want our kids, our athletes, to be able to provide as skills? We want them to be responsible. Certainly want to take responsibility for things they're doing. We want them to be self-driven or disciplined. Ethical, certainly. Confident is a big thing. We want kids to be confident with their abilities, confident with what they're getting themselves into, and be able to get themselves out if they need to. Physically fit, mentally tough, adaptable, caring, and certainly high performing. We want all of the kids to learn these things, and we have a developmental model that includes them all as we progress throughout the season. So each level within the team provides opportunities towards the ends, or towards those ends of helping the kids become the best they can possibly become. Some levels overlap, but they're based on these 4 C's, we call them: competence, character, confidence, and connection. So each one of those has a specific level within them, within our program, that kind of looks like this. This is kind of a busy graph here. But if you will, the progression of a swimmer that comes into our program, this is kind of generally where we see them, the different groups that are available at each of the ages that we have, the athlete development model that kind of overlaps, and each of those 4 C's, the competence, character, confidence, and connection, they connect to different levels of experience, different levels of maturity throughout these 6 levels of the developmental model. So just more so, just so you see what our blueprint is of what we're working with, and the coaches use on a regular basis. So as far as the developmental model, again, the competence is the physical skills and fitness, the cognitive, the dry land development, coordinating skills and strength, and some of the nutrition stuff, character traits, championship behavior, work ethic, self-discipline, time management, things that help them become that great, confident athlete that we want. Confidence, the peak performance management, self-talk, visualization, concentration on goal setting, things like that. And then the connection to the team, connection to each coach, connection to the family that we have as a swimming organization, and being able to respect differences and everything that comes with being a part of an organization like this. Kind of jumping ahead a little bit, a lot of times there's young kids that come in that are very highly developed. A lot of times we call this early success in swimming, and it can be a good thing because the kids are excited, parents are excited, but it can also be a detriment. And I'm going to talk about kind of what this looks like for early success or early maturing athletes. At a young age, early success in swimming can be exciting and motivating and fun. Seeing a child win and pass their peers is a lot of fun, but it's not justification for necessarily future success. Many times, the most developmentally advanced swimmers are successful at a younger age, while their peers are a bit behind. But much of this changes as growth spurts happen and more. It's just important to be aware of the implications. And this is as coaches, we watch for these things because there are some important implications. This picture here is of three athletes. There could be one that's 12, one that's 14, one that's 16. But the challenge here as coaches is that we see them all coming in at 14 years old at this stage. Some are developmentally advanced and look like young men. Others still look like boys. So there's a lot of changes that happen over the course of time that are implications on how we do our training and what we do. So for a late maturing athlete, a lot of times they're a little bit smaller in stature initially. They have a little bit less strength, lower motor skills, less athletic success in grade school. But the practical implications of this is that they can be perceived as low competence due to their biological disadvantage at that time. They can lack positive attention. Sometimes us as coaches or their peers or even their parents can think, oh, they don't need to do this sport because they're just not very good. However, they can learn a lot of great things by being a little bit behind. They can learn how to work hard, how to work through perseverance. They generally have better skill focus because they want to learn so bad. Can provide a great foundation, but only if it's nurtured by parents and coaches to keep that long-term perspective, to realize that today we're here and we've got a lot of work to do and we're going to keep on working very hard. As with the early maturing athletes, a lot of times they're taller, heavier, more muscle mass coordination, more endurance, acquire physical skills more quickly, and they have be that grade school star. They tend to take things come pretty easy to them at an early age. So it provides an early biological advantage, but because of the easy success, sometimes there can be a neglect for the hard work ethic or paying attention in the practices or pushing through and continuing to get stronger as they go. Um, so a lot of times these guys have early success, but then as their peers get stronger, their work ethic kind of passes them up. They can get frustration as those late matures close the gap, and just something that we watch for. And again, the implications of this are that we help prepare the kids for those future changes, no matter where they are. Keeping a focus on long-term development. We want the swimmers to peak as a junior or senior in high school to prepare for college. Help the early matures keep success in perspective so that they learn how to work hard and focus for the long term. And in taking active steps to help the late matures stay excited about swimming, develop the work ethic and skills to catch up when the growth spurts hit. And then big focus on all of this is the process over the results. It's not overemphasizing that, an 8-year-old is the top in the county, but it's saying, hey, here's where we are today. Let's keep on working and let's see what's next. And how do we do that? Through the process, teaching the process of coming to practice, working hard, and staying focused on getting better. So early success, top 8-year-old is not more likely to get a college scholarship than the slowest 8-year-old. And I've got examples up the wazoo to share with that and show you that is the case. Every child grows at different times. The key is every swimmer requires a long-term approach to keep the learning, growing, and developing into their potential as they age. And as USA Swimming a while back gave a presentation that showed that no matter where you are as a 10 and under, there's still a huge amount of change that happens as they get older. So what this is that these are swimmers that are ranked in the top in USA Swimming as a 10 and under, as an 11, 12, and as a 13, 14, and as a 15, 16. The percentage is how many of those athletes were still ranked as a top 10 in the United States as a 17, 18-year-old. And the bottom line is the 10 and unders, 11% of them. So a very small percentage of the top 8 and unders or top 10 and unders that are swimming right now are going to maintain that position as a top 10. It's a little bit better as they get older, up to 15, 16, 48% continue. So the bottom line is that the top 17, 18-year-olds swimming at a junior year of high school, at the junior high school, 50% of them have never been ranked in the top 10 in the country. So there's a lot of change that happens within those teenage years that we want to keep track of, and certainly help them develop at different rates. Um, so again, how to support your swimmer, process over the results, ask them if they had fun, ask them if they gave the best effort, reassure them that no matter what their success or failure, that you love watching them, you love that they're in the sport and staying active, they love that they're learning a lot from their coaches and whatnot. Encourage them to trust and follow their coach, even if you don't see eye to eye with your coach. I want to talk about that in a second too, just the relationship and being able to build on help on utilizing the skills and the experiences of the coaches to help your child grow. And not talking negatively about your swimmer's coach in front of the swimmer. It can be very detrimental to the trust and to their development as a athlete. If at any time, certainly if you have questions about what's being done in practice, send a note to the coach, sit down, have a meeting, and talk about it away from your athlete. Unless they're a teenager, then they can be part of the conversation as well. But we're trying to keep them away from from any complaining or the negative aspect that can come from questioning the coaches as they coach. Big picture, why do we put our kids in sports? And a lot of you, I'm going to ask the questions at the end of why you did, and have you kind of write those down and use those for later reference to come back and remind yourself, oh yeah, I did it for this. I wanted skill development. I want fitness. I want them to learn life lessons. I want to feed a passion for competition, certainly build friendships and provide experiences in a sport like this. What do parents do at practices? You may watch, but try not to allow your swimmer to see you. Parents are not allowed on most pool decks. Some of them you can go in and they have some limited seating. I know here at CPAC, the limitation here is that a lot of athletes are or a lot of the kids are putting their gear in the bleachers. The coaches may have a meeting before practice and have all the kids there. So not having parents on the pool deck is helpful. We will generally not kick anybody off the pool deck, but we may ask you to move away or move out of the way so that the group can utilize the space that we have available. It is a pretty small area that we have. The other aspect is that especially after the first couple of practices, as you've come to the pool and you've introduced your child to the coach, is allow the coach to take over from there. They're very well trained in engaging the kids, getting them involved, and engaging their attention. One of the things that can be difficult is if you hover around, the kids don't have a chance to really bond and really listen to the coach. They're going to constantly be grabbing your arm or listening to you, or you're going to have to try to interpret it. And then that goes with the practice time as well. Try not to talk to your swimmer or send hand signals to them as they're swimming. Try to give them some space so that they can fully focus on what the coach is helping your child do. And in addition to that, try not to coach or don't coach your swimmer. Instead, ask them after practice what they learned, how they felt, what they accomplished, just so that they can get a connection that, hey, you're watching them, but you want them to learn from the coach. And just kind of a reinforcing a message. So a lot of times we have parents that come in and say, well, I have to be there for my child because they won't pay attention. They can't focus for very long. So I have to tell them what to do, or I have to carry their mesh bag in for them, or I have to do this. And so it's this vicious cycle that tends to happen. And sometimes it can even cause the coach to back off a little bit. So this is an example here. I need to tell my child what to do. So the parent starts sending hand signals to the child during practice. The coach sees the parent coaching the child, and the coach backs away from coaching the child as not to interfere with the parent's message. So again, we don't want to come between you and your child, and we want to make sure that your relationship with them is not hindered by a relationship with a coach. So as you keep coaching them, a coach is going to back away and make sure, maybe make sure that they're cared for, make sure that they've got the basic needs down. Because if your message is a coaching, maybe they're not getting the rest of the things that they need. So a parent reinforce that to the child's needs them, and then it keeps on going this vicious cycle. So we want the kids to become responsible. We want them to become accountable. We want them to listen to the coaches so that they can learn. And by you helping them to push them away a little bit, and give them over to the coaches while they're here at practice can help. So letting the coach be your swimmer's coach, show your support to the coach and help build your swimmer's trust in the process that's provided by teaching and training at a high level. Help kids progressively take ownership of their actions and results. And that can start with the first day. You know, give them the responsibility of packing their backpack, carrying their backpack, unpacking their backpack, bringing their gear bag at the right time, bringing the gear bag prepared, and help them to learn that they need to take some responsibility for some of these little things that we as parents start, we at a very young age, we're carrying things, we're moving things. We want them to take this ownership. And if swimming is something that they want to do for a long time, we want them to own everything. We want them to see that they have a lot of control over their effort and their abilities to prepare well for their swimming. Don't compare. Like I said, there's early matures and there's late matures, and if you start comparing, it can be a frustrating process for you and your athlete. So compare your swimmer to their best times, compare your swimmer to the progress they're making with their skills, and help them to create that identity there. Encourage an identity outside the pool. So yeah, swimmers tend to become defined by swimming in a lot of ways, but we want them to also be defined and have an identity outside of school. So keeping some balance with things, still being involved with school activities, still being involved greatly with their schoolwork, obviously, and outside groups and things like that are helpful, especially at a young age, and keeping the connection with the outside. Enjoy being a parent. It should be fun. If it's not, if it's stressful for you, if you lose sleep over the night before a swim meet or a swim practice, then you might have a little bit of pressure that you're putting unbeknownst onto your athletes. So try to enjoy it, enjoy the process there. Get involved, find ways to support your swimmer's coach, volunteer at meets, become an official, things like that. A couple other things. Allow your child to learn how to be a swimmer from the coaches. Watch but don't interfere. Allow your kids to teach you more about the sport, what they learned. Get involved in the team as a member to continue the fun family atmosphere where success will foster. And there's been a lot of studies, a lot of information out there. We are trying to, again, create athletes and students and adults eventually that can take care of themselves, that can motivate themselves, that can drive themselves to push stronger and accomplish things. And we know that if we're doing everything as parents, I've got 2 children of my own, if we do everything as parents, we're taking away the opportunity for the kids to grow. And yeah, there's going to be failure times. There's going to be times where they mess up or step out of line, or they don't do something right, or they fail in practice, or they fail in a swim meet, or they miss an event, or they forget to pack their swimsuit. Those are all teachable moments. Those are all failure moments that we have a very short time, those 18 years, to help them learn from them, and not just keep on cleaning up the mess around them, but help them to clean up the mess around themselves so that they can get through the challenges that come up and throughout the course of their lives. And so this is again, we want the kids to eventually become adults that are going to be able to complete tasks, have a belief in themselves, have the confidence to overcome challenges, and do the things at a very high level, whether that's academics or athletics or business or whatever they want to get themselves into. So a couple of things that you can do to help your swimmer, again, taking some of the accountability, timeliness, arrive on time, commit to a regular schedule, teach them how to stay committed, talk to them now, especially after you've had the meetings with your coaches about what your schedule is going to be for the next, maybe it's the next 4 months at a time or 3 months at a time. Hey, we're going to commit to going to practices 3 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever that might be, or we're all in, we're going every day of the week. This is a full year commitment, whatever that looks like for you and what you're willing to commit to. Make your commitment and then try to stick with it. And then if there's more things that come up, certainly those can be worked around. But if there's no excuses, trying to commit to the regular schedule. Keep competitions focused on the betterment of self. Healthy competitions, even the slowest swimmer today can become a superstar someday. And again, I've seen that a number of times. Don't get upset at poor performances, missed race, disqualifications. Learn to grow from those graciously. Allow the strength to come from learning from a loss or disappointment. And then certainly getting involved as a volunteer. Got lots of opportunities there. Finally, what does success look like? Making a maximum effort, working as hard as they can, pushing themselves. And you can watch as a parent. You'll see when they can give that maximum effort. Man, when you see it, you start looking at them saying, "Good job. This is exactly what it takes to be the best." And if you want to be the best, then you got to keep on working like this and pushing yourself. Continuing to learn and improve, being open-minded to learning new things. Not A lot of times we work with teenagers and they've got a phone that has the answers to absolutely everything. But we certainly want to learn from people that have done it and been there and helped others do it as well. And then refuse to let mistakes or the fear of making them stop them. Not being afraid of going out and pushing themselves to that failure point, or maybe doing something different. Maybe it's the first time they do a flip turn in a swim meet, and they mess up, they fail with it, but that's okay. They can't be afraid of trying those things out. We want to push them to help garner that confidence that they can overcome any setbacks if they do fail. All right, team process and communication. Just a little bit about how we operate and how to get in touch with us, what you can expect from us for communications and such. First of all, how and when to talk to a coach. Try not to carry a conversation on the pool deck unless it's a quick 10-second note. Hey, Johnny's going to leave early. I'll grab him out of the pool at whatever time. Or, hey, Sally's not feeling so well. Just let them know, something like that. It's a quick 10-second thing, not a big deal, but a lot of times you have 25 parents that have two quick 10-second things that can really detract from the practice starting up. So make sure it's something that the coach needs to know if they don't know already. If you have a conversation, schedule a time by email to meet with your coach either before or after practice or on the phone. In addition to that, coaches a lot of times will arrive early, and sometimes it's to be available to the parents, but a lot of times it's to prepare for the kids. And if they're arriving early and they've got a lot of conversations with the parents happening, their attention gets taken off of the practice time and making sure that they're there to help the kids get ready for practice and explain the practice and things like that. So if you need to have a conversation, try to schedule it ahead of time so that the coach isn't caught off guard and trying to do their job as a coach to coach the kids and also have a conversation with you. In addition to that, a lot of coaches also have outside obligations, families to get to, things like that. So unless it's just a quick little, hey, thanks for practice or whatever, just a quick little note, don't expect a coach to stick around unless you've scheduled for them to stick around. Again, some of them are jumping around to different pools for different practice times and getting to next groups and getting to dry land or whatever. So again, try to minimize those conversations, and if you do have something, make sure it's very, very quick, and you don't catch a coach off guard to be distracted from their job as a coach. So how do you find out about your swimmer's doing? Coaches take an interest in every single swimmer that they work with, and know a lot about each swimmer. They're working with them daily. So don't be afraid to ask if you don't understand something, or if you want clarification on maybe something that was taught or something that the kids brought home and said, hey, we did this today and you don't understand what that is, and the swimmer can't explain it to you. Don't be afraid to send them an email. Let them know what thoughts are on your mind. Also, don't be afraid to send them an email just periodically, and if they don't regularly do it themselves, to ask how your swim practices are going for your child, what swim meets they should be going to, what can you help to continue to support. You can also expect regular emails, just updates and schedule things like that are coming up from your coach, so you can watch for those on a regular basis. Real basic outline. We've got 3 portions of our season that we kind of build up to. We have the fall that goes from now until basically December. That we're kind of building the fitness up, getting kids back acclimated here for the first couple of weeks, and then kind of getting the skills to be a big priority. And then the December, the winter season happens. Things become a little bit more specific, and we'll talk about the swim meets and how that affects those. A lot of criteria for the swim meets that come in to make sure the kids are qualified for certain levels. And there'll be different meets that they go to. And in April to July, we start working on long course training, or training towards long course meets. And so that's an additional training mechanism that we have in addition to supporting the summer leagues around. Basic outline of swim practices, arrive with time to get ready. So just realize that practice starts at whatever time it says it starts. So you want to show up about 5 to maybe even 15 minutes early to make sure you can change and make sure you got your gear out, make sure you have time to get acclimated into the facility and whatnot, so that they're ready to go right on time. There's usually a warm-up session, something that the coaches will give them to kind of get them acclimated. A lot of times they're coming from school, they have a lot of pent-up energy, so maybe it's a little bit just taming that a little bit. And then there's usually a skill focus, something for the day that they're focusing on, whether it's a stroke or a turn or whatever it is, that they'll kind of explain. And then a fitness focus, something to get them stronger. And even at the basic levels, when the focus is 99% of it is on skills, we also know that there's a fitness aspect to being able to do some of the advanced skills. So we will push the kids a little bit to get stronger and get more acclimated with being a stronger swimmer. And then there's generally going to be a challenge or wrap up. The season kind of progresses, in each group or each level gets a little more challenging because the kids get stronger. So that commitment to the regular practice schedule means that your summer is going to keep up with the group, with the progress from the group. And especially on the training groups, when you get to AG1 and above, those groups tend to also progress a little bit quicker and have a little bit more challenges presented to them at an earlier stage. So again, if you miss a long period of time, you miss some of those fitness gains and also the skills that they're working on. It'd be like missing school if you're missing the whole chapter on adding and subtracting, and all of a sudden you jumped in and they're doing multiplication and division. May have a hard time with that. So again, trying to keep as consistent as you can throughout the course of a season with a good, consistent schedule. Each day is different, and this is not the outline of what we use, but just to kind of show you that if you're going on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll get a couple of days of one stroke, and each stroke will kind of cycle through where over the course of 4 weeks, you're hitting every stroke at least a couple of times, if not 3 times there to benefit. But this is not the outline that we use, so don't need to look at that closely. Swim meets. Swimming participation is not required. However, studies have shown that swimmers that compete are 80% more likely to enjoy swimming as a sport. And if you're coming into this and you're in a competitive program, one of the competitive levels that we have, and your thought process is, well, I just want to swim throughout the year and be ready for summer league. It's a long stretch to go without competing. And we know that the competitions are probably the most fun that the athletes are going to have. And they certainly can provide a lot of feedback to the coaches, a lot of feedback to the parents, a lot of feedback to the athletes to knowing how they can become better. So they're going to learn teamwork, sportsmanship, achievement as an individual, as a team, how to fail, how to work hard, and how that pays off. Overcoming and learning how to deal with the performance anxiety. Those are all things that are good and that we want to teach the kids. And the younger we start and the earlier we start in their swimming career, the easier it is to help them along the way to be able to grow from anything that they have challenges with. What meets and what events? Your coaches will talk to you about what events your kids should be swimming at each of the meets. Each meet, especially early season, has a different lineup of events. It's meant to provide the opportunity to swim all a nice variety of events throughout the course of the first 3 meets. And we'll kind of explain that a little bit more as we go here. But just realize that there are times when the coaches will either not enter your child in an event that they aren't ready for, or they may challenge your child in an event that maybe they haven't done before. And maybe they're a little fearful of, but they're going to challenge them because they think that they're ready for it. To enter swim meet, many of you have been a part of a summer league program that uses Team Unify. So just realize if you're not going, don't commit. It's always defaulted to not committed to the meet. If you are going, click on the sign up record, pull down, select yes. You can choose the events that you want to do or you think they should do, but the coach will always have the last say in making sure that they're entered in the appropriate events as they're for each of the meets. What you do at a meet, I'll have more about this as we get closer to our first competition in October. But in a basic sense, you're going to drop your swimmer off with a coach. Many meets don't allow the parents on the pool deck. there's even some meets that don't allow them in a facility based on just capacities of people and whatnot. So find a good seat or become a volunteer. Volunteers are always guaranteed a spot in the pool deck to help oversee the meet as a volunteer, but also to watch the whole meet and have access to seeing your child throughout the course of it. Again, watch but don't coach. Let them learn from the coaches. Ask if they had fun, and don't compare with other swimmers. And the last thing is the live stream. OCCS has an exclusive live stream system that is not just live, but also can be recorded, and you can go back and watch it after the meet. Just a couple quick notes. After the meet is done, make sure before they go to the meet that you explain where you're going to meet them. I know a lot of kids have phones or iPads or watches and things like that you can call on. But if you don't, make sure that you've got a nice system for, hey, as soon as you're done, go get dressed or put a towel around you, get your parka on, get your sweatshirt on, and then walk out here and I'll meet you right at the front of the facility or wherever that is. But there are some larger facilities. Freedom is one of them where there's a lot of places to go in there, and just want to make sure the kids aren't stuck in a shower or not accounted for after the competition. Being a positive parent, great example. All kids, encourage and congratulate all swimmers, not just your own. Control your emotions in frustrating situations. Abide by and respect the officials and referees' decisions. Remember what success looks like with that maximal effort. Continuing to learn and improve, and refusing to let mistakes or fear of making them stop them. Questions, just a list of things that you can ask your child after swim practice or after a competition. Just some things that will help create that conversation without feeling like you're being a nagging parent or being too intrusive, or but in the same time showing that you have interest in learning from your child and learning what they're doing and being a part of their sport and what they're going through each day. So you can use these to kind of create some of those conversations. A couple of other things helping your swimmer experience. Let your child know you support their participation. Get involved with volunteering. That can help show them that you're all in as well. Provide your swimmer with the proper equipment. Expect them to be responsible for it. Again, you're going to buy it and likely pay for it, but they need to be responsible for using it properly and also putting it back and making sure it gets back in their bag. Certainly monitor your child's participation so you know how they're developing, and things don't develop overnight, or it's kind of like watching grass grow sometimes when you're like, oof, every single day you're watching it and watching it and watching it. You don't see the results or you don't see the change happening. But if you take a step back and kind of take a video here and a video 2 months down the road, a lot of times you're going to see a lot of progress and a lot of development in the kids. Keep the coach informed if your child's sick or injured or needs to miss practices. So just make sure that they know, they're keeping track of attendance every day. And if they see that they're gone for a few days, they may reach out and ask, hey, what's going on? But if you can reach out and let them know what's happening. Make sure they're eating properly, get enough sleep, keep positive and composed, be an example of how you want your child to behave in and out of competitions. Things to be prepared for. Kids' performances are unpredictable. They will fail regardless of the outcome of swim. I always tell your kids you enjoyed watching them and that you hope that they had fun and learned something. Certainly, especially at a young age, 10 and unders can be very unpredictable with how they're going to perform. One day they're breaking records and they're going fast, and then 4 days later they show up and they're adding 5 seconds on a 25 freestyle. It will happen. And a lot of times it's just a lot of the different things that go into it. That doesn't mean that they're headed downhill and their career's over. It just means they had a bad day, and they're going to work on and they're going to learn from the failure that they had. All right, websites and help. We have newsletters that'll be Team Weekly, email blasts, coach emails, administrative updates that'll come out. Team Unify site, you have your accounts there. You'll see the events there. The On Deck app, you can also do all those things there as well on the app. Policies on the web, make sure you take a look at those and understand what the policies are, and understand how to make sure you're in compliance with all those. How to connect with us, certainly your coach, email, administrative lead. You can contact Hannah Dean if you have any administrative issues that come up or group billings and things like that. Kelly Call is also one of our administrators that she can help with things within your account. But coaches may provide their personal number, but please respect the timing of your messages and just realize that they also have lives away from their jobs, just as you do. Team Unify, again, account admin, invoices and payments, see what's being invoiced, your billing history, make one-time payments. The invoices they did process on the first. Make sure you go back into your account and make sure it processed the amount that you were expecting. If not, please do let us know, and we can get that resolved either through crediting or moving things around with different payment methods and things like that. Sports Engine, Team Unify, there's an app for that. And if you use the team code PVOS and then use your same login credentials you use for Team Unify, you'll jump into your account with Occoquan Swimming and be able to see that there. Contract details, competitive memberships contracts are 9 or 11 months. There's an option to cancel membership for new members. That happens until September 25th. You can opt out by just paying 1/9 of the contract. Other than that, it is a contract that your obligation is to stay with it for the next 9 months or 11 months. So just realize that if you're on the 9 pay, those tuition installments are not monthly tuition rates. They are installments toward the entire contract. Entry fees, foundational meets, the first 3 meets, 4 for some of you are included in the tuition, so you don't need to worry about those, but there will be some other swim meets that have entry fees that are billed to your account after you've signed up for them. And just realize that a lot of times, especially if it's a meet that we aren't hosting, we're sending the entry check weeks before the meet starts, and we can't get those back if your kid is sick or injured or something comes up within those 2 weeks. So after you've signed up, just realize there is a financial commitment to that you're obligated to pay at that point. Volunteering, we have a tremendous need, especially for the events that we host. And we host some really awesome competitions, fun competitions, and have a lot of opportunities for people to get involved and certainly help out. Just like with your summer league teams, we need timers, marshals, hospitality, concessions, officials, computer operators, and much more. If you have any interest, and especially if you were a part of your summer league or summer league program and you were an official, becoming a USA Swimming official is very easy from there. But even if you weren't and you have interest in really becoming more involved, especially on the weekends for swim meets that your kids are going to be at anyways, there are a lot of benefits to this. Tax deductible volunteer hours is one. A family incentive. We provide incentives for working a number of sessions where you could get a discount on your tuition next year. Meet lots of other amazing parents. There's free travel to national meets sometimes. There's leadership opportunities. And there's wet side, which is being on pool deck, but there's also dry side. If you're good with computers or if you want to get involved with the administrative side of it, there's opportunities there where you don't have to be the one disqualifying your child and whatnot. We have an amazing, in fact, in Potomac Valley Swimming, we're known as one of the heaviest teams with officials. We show up with a lot of help. We're in a lot of ways the envy of a lot of other programs out there that have a hard time finding officials. But we're able to run a lot of our own competitions because of the support we get from parents as officials. So you would be part of a strong group and certainly be involved with free food and all that kind of stuff that happens as an official. You're kind of a rock star there. We do a little bit of fundraising. As a nonprofit organization, our primary source is registration and tuition fees paid by our families and our operations. But we do have some opportunities that we seek some donations from outside organizations. We use Benvenity and a couple other areas where you can do matching donations from your business. We do fall fundraiser, we do a spring fundraiser, and we do sponsorships and advertisements as well. If you have any companies that are looking to uh, uh, associate themselves with a swimming organization like ours, we certainly would love to talk to them. And a lot of these fundraisers, I think most all of them, have a kickback to you as a family too, that can help you pay for your tuition or travel or things like that. USA Swimming membership, I know there was some confusion. There was an automatic email that was sent out by Team Unify once you register for the team as a new member to go register with USA Swimming, and I apologize for the confusion with that. Hopefully, we've refunded as many as we can get. There was a 30-day deadline to submit those. So the good news is if you did submit it, now you're a returning member, and the OCCS pays for their returning members for the USA Swimming membership. So either way, you won't have to pay that fee again. They'll have a lot more details about the registration process as we get closer to the first meet, and we get past all these meetings here. First thing you're going to do, though, and this is where a lot of people get caught up, is that you want to create your login as a parent first before you start adding your athlete in there. And then again, and then in addition to that, make sure you're not registering yourself as the athlete. We've had that come up a number of times. So register yourself as a parent, and then you can register your athlete. And just make sure that you're only registering your athlete as an athlete. Safe Sports certification. USA Swimming and the Center for Safe Sport have come up with a lot of guidelines and a lot of rules and informational videos and such to help us as coaches and you as parents and athletes to be able to understand the boundaries of relationships, the boundaries of what we can do as adults in a relationship with a child. So one of the expectations that we have, and we'll be sharing this again a little bit more in detail as we get past these first weeks, is that we need one parent from each family to do a course that takes about 30 minutes. And we need that for us to be certified in safe sport and be recognized within USA Swimming. We also need athletes that are 13 to 17 years old to do the optional safe sport for youth athletes. About 15 minutes, just talks about boundaries and things like that. It's a very simple process. Again, opens up. The more knowledge that people have, the better it is for everybody to stay safe. So anyway, watch for those opportunities to share. This is what the safe sport education looks like when you get into your account. Finally, last thing is, and you can just share this with your swimmer's coach. You can just write them down and save them for a rainy day, save them for a year from now, save them for 2 years from now, and kind of see where that takes you. But ask yourself, why do you think swimming is a good sport for your child? What's the connection that they have that makes you think this is going to be a good sport for them? What would you like them to accomplish by being a part of swimming year round? What are the things that you'd like to see them develop and get stronger with? And how many practices do you plan to attend per week? Maybe it's for the first, couple of months until you get your feet wet, and then maybe it's different. Maybe it's an adjusting scale. We have a lot of kids that do other sports as well, and certainly want to support those. So maybe it's 2 days a week while soccer's going on, and then 3 days a week off of soccer, and then back to 2 days a week when baseball starts up or something like that. And then what swim meets will you be available for? And that'll be something that you can just keep in the back pocket. But the coaches will also be reaching out for sharing that information as well. So that is all I've got, and that took me a little bit longer than I thought. I got about a 5-minute break, and then we'll start up the full presentation. Thank you guys for your time. Very grateful to have you as a part of the organization, and look forward to supporting you and your athlete and your family for a very long time. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video.